First Friday of 2024. We're heading into a snowstorm this weekend, or heavy rain, depending on where you are. I don't think the city's going to get hit too bad, but I have a feeling they're going to salt like crazy, which is typical, which means I probably won't be riding much. But today is a beautiful, balmy 41-degree afternoon, much better than the 26-degree morning that the day started out as. Now's the time of year where I start to give some thought to what I want to do, where I want to go, motorcycle wise. Like, I know I want to go back to Daytona in October with a little bit more time than I did this year. I have a friend who's actually doing a pretty cool trip. He's shipping his bike back from Hawaii to California, and then he's going to ride up the West Coast, cut across the U.S. on the northern tier, come back to New York for a Foo Fighters concert, and then take the southern part of the United States back to California to ship his bike back to Hawaii. And he's doing this on a Suzuki V-Strom 1000. So I'm not 100% certain what part of his trip I'm going to join him on, but I definitely want to join him on part of the trip, so that could be fun. Do we go back to Sturgis? I don't know. Do we try to make Arizona's motorcycle rally? Maybe. But now's the time when I start to think about all that type of stuff. The only thing I know for certain is Daytona, because I just had so much fun last year. So that said, does anyone have any advice? I'd love to hear if there's a must-do rally or trip or something else. That's something that maybe I haven't considered. I don't know. You know, Sturgis was fun. So was Laconia, even though it was a little wet. Daytona so far is the only one that I absolutely want to go back to. Although I will say part of the fun was the trip down. We may do it in reverse this year, may ride straight down to Daytona and then enjoy the trip back. But you know, the roads heading towards the Appalachians and towards the area of the tail, heading towards Knoxville, Blue Ridge, Skyline Drive, that time of year, just absolutely gorgeous. So that's the only one I definitely want to go back to. But always open to suggestions. So I really wanted to take the 959 out today, because I haven't ridden it in a bit, but it was on a stand under a cover behind a few bikes, and I'm took the V4 instead. It was the first bike in the garage, and it was 26 degrees this morning. I didn't feel like moving stuff to get it out, but I need to get that bike out. I need to keep my rotation of motorcycles going. It's tough. I love things about each bike. The 959 is my favorite, or one of my favorites. It's that one and the Tuono V4 that it's a tough call between the two. There's just something about that 959 that does it for me. And the last time I had it out, the gas light would come on and flash, which I'm told is the level sensor, because it doesn't actually have a gas gauge, but it has a sensor to let you know when the fuel tank is low. And I'm told that that's usually that going bad. Now, I have experience with certain models of cars, Chevrolet Impalas, 06 to 13 in particular, but there's others where using fuel treatment can help clean off the contacts and cause the fuel gauge to read correctly again. So I have a full tank treated with the fuel treatment in that bike, and I want to take it out, get some of that fuel through it, and see if that's a problem, or do I need to order a sending unit. Fuel treatment is something I tend to do once a year to all my bikes, and cars for that matter. Just Techron, an entire bottle with a full tank, run it through. There's currently a bottle in this tank, so whenever the gas light comes on this, I'll fill up and I'll be good for the year. You know, I don't know what other people's opinions are on it, but I think that the Techron does a pretty good job of keeping fuel systems clean and contacts working. So just curious to see if it'll solve that that issue on the 959, you know, or is it going to need a sending unit? We'll find out soon enough, or maybe not soon enough, depending on the track of this storm. So that's the two things that I hate to ride in is snow. Light snow is one thing, but actual accumulating snow, I mean, I hate riding in rain, but I'll do it. But snow I can't stand. But the bigger thing that I dislike is salt. New York City loves to salt. And Commissioner Tisch was on the news today saying how the spreaders are heading out and they're going to be salting every street. So if that's the case, that could put a damper on riding for a minute until we get some good rain washing it off. And I get it, you know, salt, maybe it's not the biggest thing in the world or biggest deal in the world. You could wash it, this and that. I hate how corrosive salt is. I grew up with cars from the 60s and 70s and even into, you know, some models of the 80s that they just rotted away. I can see the corrosive effects of it. I don't want to ruin a bike, my bikes at least, riding through salt when I don't have to. You know, modern cars are a lot better, and you know, modern bikes I'm sure are a lot better too. But like my old Harley has so much steel, the last thing I want to do is have that thing rot. So fingers crossed that if we do get salt, they wash the salt away relatively quickly. Well, that's it. That's my ride before the storm. Top her off with some gas, put her away. Hopefully the storm, or more importantly the salt, isn't so bad. And I'll be out in no time, and preferably on the 959. I'll see you all out on the road then.